Sony's mobile business went through several transformations since its inception back in 2001. Sony was making phones even prior to that, but the crucial partnership with Ericsson marked the start of Sony's real journey into mobile phones. Then in 2011, Sony decided to buy out Ericsson's stakes and get the smartphone business in-house. The Xperia was born. History lessons aside, Sony did manage to bring some interesting concepts and ideas to the smartphone market, and despite its market share shrinking beyond recognition, the Japanese company did manage to turn a profit for the first time in years at the beginning of 2021. In this video, we've compiled a list of the top 5 best Sony phones. So let's get started. Number 5. Sony Xperia 10 III. While 2019's Xperia 1 and 5 flagships are more impressive entries in general, Sony's inconsistencies with long-term software support mean as of early 2022 the more modest but newer Xperia 10 III makes for a more sensible buy within the Xperia family. Performance is good enough for some competitive mobile gaming, battery life is great, and Sony's Android tweaks are both as meaningful and unobtrusive as ever. Despite its unique attributes for a mid-ranger, however, namely the pairing of an OLED display and IP65/68 dust and water resistance, there are a few too many shortcomings versus competitors outside of the Sony camp to make this an easy recommendation beyond the most die-hard fans of the brand on a budget. Number 4. Sony Xperia 5 III XQ-BQ72. As with Sony's last two generations of flagship phone, 2021's Xperia 5 III is essentially a more compact incarnation of the Xperia 1 III. As such, it features most of the 1 III's strengths as well as the same set of weaknesses. There's no 4K display to speak of here, instead having access to a, still excellent, Full HD plus 6.1 inches 120Hz HDR OLED panel. Performance is still strong, although the phone is prone to heat up, while a consistent and capable set of cameras is primarily held back by a convoluted still/video app setup. Number 3. Sony Xperia 1. With the Xperia 1, Sony decided to turn things around and step into the modern smartphone world. And it succeeded in doing so at launch. This device was the first Sony phone with a triple camera and the only handset on the market with a 4K OLED HDR display. The 21:9 aspect ratio was a bold move, but now it's a Sony staple and kind of a trademark of all Xperia phones that came after the One. Hardware-wise, the Xperia 1 mirrored its smaller sibling, although it's the other way around, really. Anyhow, the phone packs a Snapdragon 855 chipset coupled with 6GB of RAM. It's pretty fast and won't stutter even in 2022. The internal storage is just 128GB, but you can expand it via the microSD card slot. Kudos to Sony for keeping it throughout its lineup. The triple camera system consists of three 12MP shooters, the main camera with f1.6 and approximate 26mm focal length, a super wide f2.4 snapper, and a telephoto camera with 2x optical zoom. Number 2. Sony Xperia 10 IV. Sony did a great job with the Xperia 10 III, and the stakes were high for its successor. The budget line seems to be selling well, and there's a good reason for that. The package is just great for the money. The Xperia 10 IV brings some upgrades to the table and refines the 10 series further. You get the same 6-inch notchless OLED panel, a real treat in a phone that's so affordable. The build quality and materials are slightly better, the processor is a bit faster, and there's more RAM compared to the previous generations. Small improvements here and there, but overall the spirit of this budget offering remains the same. There's one area where Sony has done an excellent job: battery life. Cramming a 5000 mAh battery in the same body is not a small feat. Actually, the Xperia 10 IV is a millimeter smaller than its predecessor, and coupled with the 60Hz OLED display and the modest chipset, this results in a record-setting battery life. Seriously, this phone is our new battery life champion. Number 1. Sony Xperia 1 IV. The Xperia 1 IV also took the innovative periscope zoom camera of its predecessor and made it better. While the Xperia 1 III featured the first zoom lens with a moving optical elements capable of switching between 70 and 105mm, the Xperia 4 upgraded the system so it could offer continuous zoom. That's right. Just like a professional DSLR camera, the Xperia 1 IV can zoom from 85 to 125mm with every focal length in between.
This phone is also super fast with the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset and 12GB of RAM. And guess what? You can expand the internal storage, 256GB, with our dear old friend, the microSD card slot. There's also a 3.5mm audio jack present, defying modern smartphone trends, and the Xperia 1 IV also features a stereo speakers setup, front-facing, and quite good at that not your average unbalanced speakerphone/loudspeaker combo. All in all, the Xperia 1 IV is the best Sony phone at the moment and a worthy successor of the previous ultra-premium Sony flagship. There's one drawback, however: the price. Sony went all out and slapped a $1,599 price tag to this technology masterpiece. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you like this unbiased review. And please don't forget to subscribe us to get the news of upcoming reviews. Stay tuned.
Fuck her in the Benz.